Thanks for joining us. I don't know if you got much sleep last night and if you've been in touch with the family this morning. Talk us through how the last few hours have been.
Well, the last few days have been an absolute roller coaster. It all started and kicked off with Nazanin getting her passport back on Monday. That was a very hopeful sign, the most hopeful sign that we had had to date. And we've had a number of false starts over the last 6 years, as you know. And then Tuesday, an anxious wait. Rather hopeful that Nazanin might even be on a plane Tuesday evening. That was not to be. And then an agonizing wait at the airport yesterday morning, not knowing what was delaying the final release. And then the wonderful news that Nazanin was on the plane, and she texted a picture of her on the plane with the windows behind, looking ecstatic. Big smile on her face, and always, as she always is, calm and measured and very composed. And those pictures that you saw of the family reunited speak volumes. As the reporter just said, it's a real human.
Yeah, as do the pictures, Penny, in the newspapers. You talk about that big smile on her face. Very, very natural pictures across the newspapers today. But I think it's fascinating, people listening to you and realising there was no plan, you weren't really tipped off. It wasn't as if you were told 2 weeks ago it's going to happen on this day and whatever, which brings us to the point, why last night? Why yesterday?
Well, we don't have any real visibility. Obviously, Liz Truss has made this an absolute priority to get the debt that's long been overdue and owed to Iran paid. We have been asking for 5.5 years for this debt to be addressed, because we very much believe that if the UK honoured its international legal obligations to Iran, Iran would do likewise and would release an innocent wife and mother. And that has proven to be the case. Why now? We don't know, but clearly there was an imperative on the part of the government and the Foreign Office to get this debt paid and to get Nazanin and Anousheh home.
So, I mean, there have been 5 foreign secretaries, I think 3 prime ministers during the period that Nazanin's been going through all of this. Do you attribute then, from what you're saying, by the sounds of it, to Liz Truss's determination that Nazanin got released?
I mean, I think we were very clear, and Richard was very clear with every foreign secretary what needed to be done to bring his wife home. We don't know why it's taken so long for that to finally come about. But obviously, whatever was blocking has been unblocked now. And the current Foreign Secretary, Liz Truss, clearly made that a priority, and the government clearly made it a priority. One has to ask why it didn't happen sooner. We've had 6 very long, agonising years.
Yeah. And, you being a lawyer and all of that, does it end here?
I think that's a question for the Ratcliffe family, and obviously they need to take stock. It's just a wonderful reuniting of this incredibly brave family.
Yeah, but it was 6 years, 6 years of her life. Relief, it was 6 years of her life taken away. Is there a price on that?
Sorry?
It was 6 years of her life taken away. 6 years of not seeing her daughter grow up. Is there a price on that?
Well, I think that's 6 years that you never get back, and that's an absolute tragedy. I think it's priceless myself, and it's terribly sad. We focus going forward on the fact that Nazanin's finally come home.
And look, I know you said a minute ago that was a question for the Ratcliffes, but, you are here as their lawyer. Presumably you've been in contact with them since that reunion. Just tell us about some of the reactions. I mean, we could see in their faces how happy they were, but do you have any idea what their plans are for the next few days? And I know it's Iranian celebration on Sunday, Nowruz. Will they be celebrating that?
I'm sure they'll be celebrating. I think what they need right now is just some peace, some quiet, some tranquility to really be reunited as a family, and to be able to, in the coming weeks, to just process what has been the trauma of 6 years. That's a lot to take in. But the pictures speak volumes, of course. Okay. Richard's and Nazanin's dreams of the last 6 years have now come true. And, you have a little girl who has finally brought her mummy home, and she's ecstatic and thrilled.
Well,